Top 25 movie of all time. At number 25, The Usual Suspects, a mystery built on lies, manipulation, and unreliable stories. Every detail matters, especially the ones you overlook, and the ending changes everything you thought you knew. At number 24, Schindler's List, a powerful story of humanity during the darkest chapter of history. One man chooses compassion over profit, saving hundreds of lives. A film the world must never forget. Next, The Wolf of Wall Street. A rise fueled by money, greed, and excess. Power becomes addiction, and success has no limits until it does. A wild and unforgettable journey. At number 22, Django Unchained, a story of freedom driven by revenge, bold, violent, and unapologetic. A modern Western with unforgettable characters. Next up, The Green Mile, a heartbreaking story of justice, compassion, and miracles. Set in the unlikeliest place, it reminds us of the power of empathy. A film that stays with you long after it ends. At number 20, Joker, a slow descent into madness. Not a villain's origin story, but a warning about society and neglect. Disturbing, emotional, and unforgettable. Next, Whiplash, a relentless pursuit of perfection. Talent meets obsession under extreme pressure. The question remains, how far is too far? Number 18, The Departed, a deadly game of lies on both sides of the law. No one is who they seem, and everyone pays a price. Next, Parasite, a dark social satire disguised as a thriller. Class division unfolds with shocking consequences. Nothing is as simple as it appears. Number 16, Saving Private Ryan. We're shown without filters, a mission driven by sacrifice, duty, and brotherhood. One of the most realistic war films ever made. Next, The Prestige. To rival magicians consumed by obsession, this isn't a story about tricks. It's about sacrifice. How far would you go to be the best? And what would you lose along the way? At number 14, The Silence of the Lambs, a terrifying battle of intelligence and control. Every conversation feels like a trap. One of the most chilling performances in cinema history. Next, Gladiator, a betrayed general turned symbol of resistance, honor, vengeance, and destiny collide in ancient Rome. A reminder that true power is earned, not given. At number 12, Interstellar, a journey beyond space, time, and logic, where science meets emotion and love becomes a force stronger than gravity. A film that stays with you long after it ends. Next, 7, to detectives chasing a killer who's already won. Each crime reveals a darker truth about humanity. Disturbing, relentless, and impossible to forget. Breaking into the top 10, Goodfellas, the rise and inevitable fall of a gangster's dream. Fast, violent, and brutally honest. A crime story without illusions. At number 9, The Matrix. What if everything you believe is a lie? A hacker discovers that reality itself is an illusion. This film changed action, philosophy, and pop culture forever. And decades later, the question still stands. What is real? Next, The Return of the King, the final chapter of an unforgettable journey. Friendship is tested, sacrifices are made, and destiny is fulfilled. A story about courage in the face of darkness. One of the greatest endings in cinematic history. At number 7, Inception, a dream within a dream within a dream. Reality bends, time collapses, and perception breaks. Every layer hides another truth. A film that challenges your mind every time you watch it. Next, Fight Club, a story about identity, rebellion, and control. What begins as freedom slowly turns into chaos. The line between who you are and who you pretend to be disappears. And once the rules are broken, there's no going back. At number 5, Forrest Gump, a simple man witnessing extraordinary moments in history. Through love, loss, and chance, he keeps moving forward. Kindness, honesty, and perseverance change lives. Proof that greatness doesn't need complexity. At number 4, Pulp Fiction, a film where stories collide through crime, chance, and chaos. Every conversation feels alive. Every moment feels unpredictable. It broke traditional storytelling rules and created new ones. Style became substance, and cinema was never the same again. At number 3, The Dark Knight, a hero pushed to his absolute limits. A villain who doesn't want money or power, only chaos. This is more than a superhero movie. It's a battle of ideas, morality, and sacrifice. A film that redefined what the genre could be. At number 2, The Godfather, a timeless story of power, family, and loyalty. It doesn't glorify crime. It shows its cost. Every choice shapes destiny. Every favor demands a price. This film didn't just portray the mafia, it defined it. And at number 1, The Shawshank Redemption, a story about hope in the darkest of places, about patience, friendship, and the quiet strength of the human spirit. When everything is taken from you, hope is the one thing that remains. This isn't just a movie. It's a reminder that freedom begins in the mind. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you love great cinema.